one of the biggest problems, I call it the downshift, is most guys don't know how or don't have a practice or don't have something of the body, like legit an actual practice thing that they can signal to their body like, yo, we can set this down. And then the consequences of that are, burnout, lack of connection, lack of intimacy, lack of trust in relationship, you name it.
Welcome, sir, husband, father, founder of Men of Movement Retreats, the Grounded King, and the King Within podcast. Thanks for being here, sir. I'm excited to have you here. You're going to be with Ryan Mickler, Pat Barber, Matt Boudreau, Nate Feathers, myself. You're going to be with Daniel Gross. You're going to be with Gabriel Mira. You're going to be with Brennan Schlagbaum. It's going to be an awesome experience, man.
Stacked.
Mm-hmm.
Stacked. Plus.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of debate, and obviously I've taken a very specific stance that people can tell by the name of the summit, Patriarch. And I think that masculine leadership has been on life support. And there's multiple different angles for us to talk about that from. And I don't think that's okay. So we're reviving it. And that's why I want you here. And that's why I asked you to be a part of this summit. And you said yes. So what made you say yes to being a part of this thing?
So I don't know if it was a yes, it was a fuck yes.
Yes. Fuck yes.
Well, a few things come up. Like, I mean, when the invitation came out through you, even before I knew what it was, and I think this also speaks to the importance of why we're doing what we're doing, is I don't even recall how you left the message, but it was almost as if whatever you were inviting me to, I would have been a full yes. And it's because, one, there's a lot of mutual love, respect, similar core values. How you show up just by the nature of you being you inspires me and calls me forward. And I really do believe, and I've had multiple dreams of this, even on I just did this solo retreat like 2 weeks ago, of really just seeing, you could call it a council, but a group of like 20 guys, all just very solid, grounded, heart centered, everybody living their best life, living a life of service. And when we all get around each other, the frequency, the vibration of the impact of why we're here, the people that we serve just magnifies. And so, why did I say yes? First and foremost, because, no bullshit, because it was coming from you. And who do I want to surround myself with, and what conversations do I want to have with my voice or my platform or my audience. And so that was the first thing, and it was because of who you are and how you show up. And then that's like first thing, and then I'm feeling into what was coming up when I heard the title, because I remember there wasn't a retraction, but there's definitely an awareness of, this is a word that lights people up. And what I appreciate is knowing you, and when you shared a bit about it, and now that like the landing page is up and you've really formulated what this thing is and the angle that we're coming from, it's actually very similar to what I've taught. I would call it something different through my brand, which is lead from the middle, but it's so in alignment that we as men, as fathers, I believe have some of the most important roles in our family and society today. Like that 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 energy of the chief, the energy of the king, but not from like a hierarchy perspective, not from a looking down, right? It's in it. It's with the family. It's we're immersed in it. We're not just providing financially and just letting that provision be enough. It's like, no, we're fucking in it with our kids. We're holding our kids. We're present with our kids. And so I love that it sparks a bit of controversy and the values of it and where you're going with it and the call back to really the heart of it. I would call it something different from my brand, and it's very similar. And so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really I would say the chiefness of it. And a lot of people get squirrely about this too, but it's really the essence of sacrificial leadership.
Hmm.
I'm endowed with this power within the family if I'm going to take on the mantle as leader. I, I remember who said it. I was just watching what's his name from game show. I can't think of his name. Anybody can be a father. takes a special guy to be a dad.
Mm,
It's a different thing.
mm,
But when it comes to sacrificial leadership, it's not, I have this power over you and you exist for me and you do what I ask you to do to make my life better. It's no, I have power and I use that power to serve you and to make your life as easy as possible,
mm.
to lighten your burdens as much as possible, to draw your potential. And when it comes to the chief or the king or whoever we want to refer to him as, that power is given as this sacred responsibility. But then as soon as he's not holding the hearts and the health and the well-being of those within his kingdom, kin, family,
Mm.
within the highest, then well, he abdicates that power. It's no longer his. It should be taken away.
There was, I really like this personally. A buddy of mine, I don't know where he got this, but he does a lot of archetype works. He's written a book on archetypes. Greg Schmelz, maybe
Yeah.
great human being, great dude, one of my favorite. Very very wise, very deep. Big Paul Check guy, but he really specializes in family constellations, parts work, and a few other things. But he had shared me. He goes, "Hey Mike, I had this vision of what was it? A king without his armor." Right? It's like the king holds that position of responsibility, but a king who's super walled up and protecting all the time. It's like, no, like when I come home to my family, especially like I am wearing my honor, but I'm wearing that role, that responsibility. And so I really love that and resonated with in many regards. It's the crown without his armor, the king
Mm-hmm.
without his armor. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think of it as the we need that armor, that warriorness in order for us to go out in the world and do what needs to be done.
mm,
Because well, the work that we need to do can be hard.
mm,
It's uncomfortable. And
mm,
so we need that armor sometimes. We need that sword
mm,
sometimes for whatever our trade is. But when we come home,
mm,
we don't need that.
mm,
We don't need that. That's where the armor needs to come off. The sword needs to be hung in reverence. We walk into that house with the heart open
mm,
as the gardener, not the warrior.
mm.
But so many men struggle with that transition. So before we even get into, I imagine that we're going to talk about transitioning and taking shifts. Uh, I want to ask you, what has been your experience of stepping into family leadership? You've got Luca here. What has that been like for you finding your way? And what have you discovered through that?
Hmm. I was reflecting on, as I was mentioning, I was doing like now one of the things that I do each quarter mandatory is I do a solo retreat as encouraged by my wife. And in these solo retreats, these 3 to 4 days of pause, it's my opportunity to really focus on me so that when I come home, I can really give to the family. And so there's a lot of lessons that came up, but one of the first ones, because now it's been almost 9 months or so, done three of these retreats. And it's become so evident to me, like before, like even if you were to say even a year ago, like it's obviously an ongoing understanding and progression and embodying some of this stuff. But I would have felt so goddamn guilty to take intentional pause, even if it was, well meaning. I would have felt a lot of guilt. And I had a lot of difficulty really embodying, like conceptually understood it. And there was always a time and a place. But now I've got so much understanding that these, like creating more space in my schedule and creating these moments of very focus. Like I'm not there to F around. Like I'm there to really long meditations, do a lot of work, play, go into myself and really show up home with resource. And so one of the things that I really realized about leadership is so much of it depends on the quality of my energy and the quality of my presence. And if I was operating via the old operating system, which was like, fuck. I mean, the operating system that I grew up in and that was modeled to me growing up, and this is not a knock on it, but just an observation. My mom and dad were Sicilian immigrants. My dad growing up was working conservative, the oldest in the family, didn't really go to school, manual labor. and was working conservative 15 hours a day, if not more, 7 days a week. That was my upbringing, right? And I love it, and I have a lot of compassion, and there's two things can coexist. Like that's what he needed to do via what he had and the upbringing he was given, and that was largely how I grew up. And now that I get the chance to do something different, I get to carry on where he left off and really set up my own constraints around what are the things that need to happen in my schedule so that I can show up fully resourced. I've realized that these intentional experience, it's not like, yeah, there's some degree that it's selfish, but I really realized so much of how powerfully I'm felt in the family is again the quality of my energy and the quality of my presence. And if I'm working 7 days a week like I was before, and there was no constraints around how long I was working, it's not going to be felt as depth and it's going to be very short lived. And so I'll share one more thing. One of the biggest shifts over the last 9 months is now, and this was really challenging at first, my cutoff time for work, unless there's an exception, like something, with consideration and discernment comes up, I end at 3:30. Pick my son up at 4 and weekends are off. Like again, unless there's a special circumstance. And one of the things that I was reflecting on this solo retreat, I was like, holy shit. I was looking at the finances and about a year ago, finances are about the same, maybe slightly more, maybe slightly less, like in our industry, like there's waves. But I'm conservatively working about 50 hours a week less per month. And that I was like, because at first I was a little frustrated. I'm like, oh, I'm kind of in the same place, like, I'd love to be doing more. I want to get these things for the family. And then I was like, wait. Let's take a moment, let's pause, and let's do an honest inventory. And there's some months where it's probably 80 hours a month less.
Mhm.
And so for me, I was like, holy shit. Maybe there's parts of me that wish I was further ahead or whatever. But I'm like, no, 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 bro. Like, this is the right path for me because just simply having financial success is an important metric and important, but to do so without bringing my family along for the ride and missing those moments at every Wednesday, there's a little fair here down the street, riding the train with them. Like, I don't want that life.
Mhm.
I'll pause there, but there's been a lot of big takeaways lately, brother.
Mhm. What do you what are you seeing the men that you work with, what are you seeing them struggle with when it comes to balancing family and within themselves too?
I mean, you mentioned it earlier, and I'm really passionate about this. One of the biggest things that I see is men do not have an off switch. They don't know how to turn on. They don't know how to create a separation between work and home. Just like you said perfectly, like we lay down the sword with reverence and to create that shift. Like I've got guys that literally will lay in bed not just thinking about the day, but need to listen to podcasts like Joe Rogan just simply to get them to ultimately fall asleep, to keep their mind occupied on something else. And what I always say is like, man, if that's the case of what's happening, there's always a part of you that is just not there. It's either at work or it's thinking about shit. And so one of the biggest things that I see is most guys that I'm working with have not created an intentional shift in their mind via the roles that they're doing. They're laying down the armor, laying down the sword. Their nervous system is still ramped up. They're still like tired but wired, or they're exhausted. And so what ends up happening as soon as they walk through the door, their family, like, yeah, I'm sure that they care, like their wife cared, but what do they need? They need all of them. And so one of the biggest problems, I call it the downshift, is most guys don't know how or don't have a practice or don't have something of the body, like legit an actual practice thing that they can signal to their body like, yo, we can set this down. And they have a hell of a time with that. And then the consequences of that are, burnout, lack of connection, lack of intimacy, lack of trust in relationship, like you name it. But that's one of the key things.
Mhm. That lack of transition, and I know that for myself, being on all day, it's hard, and I work a couple feet from the back door, which is really nice. But even in the days when I would travel, one of the days that I do travel outside of the house, it is hard to transition. And when
Mhm.
I'm on all day and I walk into that house, I'm oftentimes still on. And sometimes my wife will call me out and be like, "You need to walk back out the door because the energy that you're bringing in here, you're
Mm,
causing problems."
mm.
And she's right, because sometimes I'm wired and I want to chat and I want to talk to everybody, and it's not the right energy for the house. Other times I can walk in and be irritated and frustrated because I've been on all day and I'm in that high sympathetic activation. And taking that transition, most guys have no idea what to do with that.
Mm.
It's one of the most important parts of my day because they deserve me at my best. And I wake up every morning to do this for them. And like, I would love to just snuggle with my wife and my baby boy, who's almost a year and a half now, in bed in the morning. I would love to do that, but I get up so that I can serve them and get myself right and make breakfast. I work. I do it all for them. And it's really easy to come home at the end of the day and have nothing left to give. And I think that's where a lot of guys are.
I mean, to your point, like, even for me, like, it's definitely not easy. Like, it's not easy, especially, the more and more that I've practiced this, because I think it is a practice. Like, I get it, like, if someone's operating at level 10, depending on the nature of their work, etcetera, maybe they're in a highly competitive environment, maybe they're slamming a bunch of espresso, they didn't sleep the night before, they've got a high degree of responsibility, they got a bunch of people underneath them, like, they're operating up here, so I totally get it, like, flipping the light switch, like, the ability to switch from sympathetic to parasympathetic, or maybe more from mind to heart, like, I wanna just say, like, I understand and go through it 100% myself, like, very similar to you. My office door is here, my family's right down there, and it is not easy, and I fucking practice all day, like, literally every single morning, I'm doing a discipline practice. Before and sometimes after clients, I do a 1 to 3 minute down regulation. So I want to just say, like, it's challenging for all of us. And it's, in my opinion, it is one of the things that is more worth it than anything else. And if whoever's listening, if you're someone that's having difficulty because you're ramped up too much, the sympathetic drive is too much, then, well, one, the practice that you choose, that would help guide what's the practice that would be supportive for that. Maybe the duration, maybe doing a 2 minute downshift, it would be helpful, but maybe you do fucking need 15 minutes. Like, maybe you do need 20 minutes. Like, I think it's important for us, myself, you, and anybody listening, to really be honest with ourselves. What is it really? Fuck, it's 15 minutes. Maybe it's 20. And though, when you come home, just I would guarantee anything. I would guarantee anything if you told, or I told my wife, or someone told their partner that, "Hey, instead of coming home," as an example, or coming out of my office from 5 PM, I need till 5:20 or 5:15 to show up for you and our kids in a way that would change the game for our relationship. You're gonna get more of me, you're gonna feel me more, I'm gonna be more present, I'm gonna listen more, I'm gonna be more contributive to the family, I'm gonna be able to make dinner, and have some energy to give. I would bet anything they would say yes to that if you give them that reason. And so I also think up here, we've been so conditioned that we don't prioritize, people like, "Oh, I gotta get home." It's like, yeah, but I promise you, if you brought the energy of sacredness around that, and truth be told, it may require a few moments of the day, not much, but maybe every time that you close a meeting, you literally take 30 seconds, 30 seconds to take 3 breaths, or before you sit down for every meal. Like, getting creative and working it, installing it into our day, I think is one of the most valuable things. But I think the first thing that we have to do is recognize, what is the potential impact on this? Like, this could literally be the thing that saves your marriage, someone's marriage. This could literally be the thing that has your son, my son, our daughters, whatever, as we were saying, like, running towards us as opposed to running away. Because if we come in hot like literally in hunt mode or in battle mode, that's not a trustable presence. And so my encouragement to the men is what like I used to teach this presentation called the 5-minute downshift, which I love. And the idea was make it very accessible, which I see is incredibly valuable. And the more that I've leaned into it, I've given less fucks. And I'm like, if we're really being honest with ourselves, 15 minutes, 20 minutes is plenty of time in a dedicated, intentional moment of pause to completely change someone's life and their family's life and the generation. So that's the reality of it. We all go through it and it's worth it. From my opinion and my experience and coaching men through it, it's well worth it. And our families would actually likely be so grateful that we did.
Yeah, one of the things that I am very intentional about, and that I'm not perfect with. And if I was perfect, please, if I pretended like I was perfect, call me out on it. But is when I walk in that door, is getting down on my knees to receive the kids.
Mm,
And
mm,
I've got my backpack, I've got my water bottles, I've got all my stuff. Sometimes carry my computer and my phone, but like I'm not too busy for that. I'm not too burdened for that. So one of the big things that I really try to do walking in that door is to make that physical connection with them. And
mm,
I've told my son, like, hey, I'm never too busy to get down on your level and give you a hug. So like if I'm standing up holding all my stuff and you're trying to hug me and I'm not coming down, I was told him, call me on it. Like ask me to come down to your level and it will. And when we're locked in our go mode, and this is a physical example of connection, but we just can't connect. We just can't get on their level, whether it's with our kids, whether it's with our wife, my dog, whatever. And we owe that to
mm. One thing that just hit me was I was taking this program course with a lady named Sarah Payton. And one of the things she's from my understanding, like a neuroscientist. And one of the things that she was saying was, which I totally agree with, the phone is like our second brain today.
them.
But they were doing studies that, if I recall correctly, and I do, if the phone, even if it's off or turned down, but it's next to us, our brain still associates the open loop. If, however, the phone is in another room, the brain doesn't associate it in the same.
Mm.
And so maybe like what you're saying, just that physical act, because that takes 3 seconds. And that could essentially signal roll shift. Okay, set down the armor. Like it might not be a long thing like I was sharing. It could be something, but something that tells the body it's time. And if maybe the first thing you do is you walk in and you leave the phone in your book bag, you leave the phone in your briefcase, or you put it in a drawer, but keep it in a separate room. That could be the very thing, so that it removes the open tabs and the open loops to call back. And that might be, maybe that is your downshift. Maybe that is the thing. I take this phone that I use to support my kingdom.
Mhm.
It's in the other room and it's locked away for the next hour, or whatever constraint someone wants to put. But it also, I really appreciate that, because it doesn't need to be a long thing. It just needs to create that pattern break.
Mhm. It's that rule shift in the nervous system, as you put it.
Yeah.
I got a question that came in from one of the guys in the chat here. We're talking about regulation. It was Max. Any tips for how to handle 4-year-old daughter, oldest of three, new baby in the home? How to help her go to bed without arguing, without conflict, I imagine. What have you found has been helpful for winding down in your house, Mike?
So my son's 3.5, so right around that same age. Did he say, I'm sorry, was it son or daughter?
Daughter, oldest of three girls,
Okay.
with a new baby at home too.
Wow. All right. So I don't have a daughter, but I'm going to share what I do with my son. And so my son, and we go through this a lot. I'm very like, man. But one of the biggest things that I do now, and it's been so helpful, is I'm super physical with him. Every night we wrestle. Like, and I'm talking, like, pretty damn rough, like, legit, like, I'm teaching him how to tie up, I'm letting him run, 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 push down, he letting him win, pin me down, I'm flipping him over from the legs, and it's a solid, I mean, conserve, like, 15 minutes at least, but of rough play, and I've just seen him, I don't wanna say I take him till he gasses out, but a lot of that energy, I just see him, 1, connect with me, and it's brought us closer, and he asks for me more now, especially in the evening. Um, but I've just seen it downregulate his system consistently. And so he eats dinner, give him a little bit of time, but then before reading a book, which is the other thing, so we dim the room. So we just create the environment as much as we can. We dim the room, do that stuff. Um, we wrestle and then we read. And the bedroom that we have, not just for him, because he sleeps, I mean, I sleep with the family, but on big work days, I sleep in our guest room so I can get up a little earlier. But the bedroom is for sleeping. Like, that's what it's for. It's like winding him down. So as soon as we enter in that room, we might be wrestling on the bed, but it's also the shift for him. It's like I take him for wrestling, we might read a book, my wife knows, she gets his bedtime snack ready, she gets his little, electrolytes that he likes or water, but he's walking into an environment that's signaling, "I gotta play with papa, we're gonna read, and then it's time to go to bed." Does it work all the time? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, and I appreciate the perfection piece, a lot because that's, I think, underlying all of this, but 8 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10, um, that has been one of the most helpful for my son. I don't know if it would help this gentleman's daughter, but for him, that's a big thing for us.
Yeah. Yeah, talking from from our side, I'm also a huge proponent of nervous system shifts and transitional rituals. And during COVID, we invested in the Hue light bulbs. I don't like having a Bluetooth and Wi-Fi light bulb in my house, but I do like that they can be any color I want them to be. And so as soon as it's post dinner time, we go like sunset orange and then we turn them to red. And that's the signal that, like, hey, it's quiet time. It's time to start winding down. The kids love wrestle time. So I got my son who's 5, I got my daughter who's almost 3, and they love to wrestle. They love to jump on me and then get thrown on the couch, and they have an order that they go, and they make sure that they don't jump into each other. And even my 1.5-year-old son is in on that now too. So like he'll just lean and fall, and I'll catch him, throw him up there, and he loves it. And actually, just I think it was Sunday, I had to stop him, and my because my wife was like, "You're bleeding. There's blood on you," and if one of them had gotten their own blood on my face. And I was like, "Okay, it's time." And then right after, I was like, "Okay, we're gonna stop here." My son stands over like me like Mario, and he like butt stomps on my face like I'm a Goomba. And I was like, "All right, dude."
Oh,
No offense to your people there, Mike. Um,
alright, dude.
like, and I was like, "All right, we're done." We're taking a break right now, but they love that physical time, whether it's 15 minutes or I'll set a timer and I'm like, if I don't have a lot of time, it's 2 minutes all in, guys. Give me everything that you got. Like, we're gonna wrestle. I'm gonna tickle you guys. I'm gonna pin you down, whatever. And then after that, we do chamomile tea every night. That's our ritual. They have a little bit as well. They love it. And then I'm like, let's grab a book. We've been reading the Chronicles of Narnia series. They love that. So we go into their room where we close the blinds. We have our red lights or amber lights in there, and we read for a couple of minutes. My son will fall asleep, like no problem. Now, of course, we do prayers and then I sing and he's out. But my daughter is the late night one. She's the late night one. She will stay up and talk. She will stick her fingers in his ears and in his mouth because they share a bed.
Oh,
Um,
goodness.
and I'm like, I can be out in the family room and I can hear her yelling like, "Theo, wake up!" And I'm like, baby, you got to stop. So your bedtime's going to be imperfect. Each of those kids needs something different. What I have found recently is that as we're doing our evening prayers, if I can invite her in for me to just hold her and I just hug her, she loves falling asleep on me.
Mm.
For the longest time when we were still co-sleeping with her, she'd wake up in the middle of the night and I would take her and she would sleep on my chest.
Mhm.
And when we transitioned her into, or even before she went into Theo's room, and that it's now their room, I would sing to the two of them with her on my chest. And so it had been a while since I had done that. And I realized this past week that, okay, she's crazy. She like gets up and leaves the room while I'm singing to go get herself a snack and like go play. And I'm like, where are you? And then I just invited her in one day and I was like, just lay on my chest, let me sing to you. And that did it for her.
Mhm.
She needs something different than Theo. Theo can fall asleep like a champ. She needs some physical contact. She needs to feel me singing. She needs to be able to like poke at my face and smile at me. But when I've done that, she's been good. Each of the kids is going to be different, but I think routine is key. Doing your best to control the environment. I think lights are really important. And I think that physical activity is so important too.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. It's cool,
Kids are
man.
silly, man.
It's cool, dude. It's super fun. It's super I'm loving this wrestling stage. Or hopefully it doesn't end, but like and he's gonna whoop my butt. And like I don't hate
Hmm.
boy, but I'm really loving it. Like it's actually one of my favorite times of day. And and I'm loving the physicality and the touch and to feel him like dig in and grunt and so yeah, I love that.
Hmm. Yeah, my Theo is so physical. Like
Mm.
he's so physical and it just comes in and it like possesses him. And we talk all the time, like he would not make it in a public school. Cause like he just gets up and he's like, bah! And I'm like, yes, let's go outside with that. Like go jump on the trampoline, go do something.
Yeah.
And then my daughter's over there like coloring and reading books and she's just great. And they're just so different. Boys and girls are so different. Kids are so different. And I want to make a hat that just says guru on it just to remind me. And I want it to be a kid's hat so that like he wears it, she wears it, just to remind us as parents that like they're teaching us here. Take a breath. What are they teaching me here? And just that reminder.
Love
So we're coming up on time here.
mm,
I want to open this up to you a little bit more. Uh,
mm,
you were the first guy that I invited into Patriarch,
mm,
and I'm honored to have you here.
mm.
But what do you think that you're going to bring to the table? What do you think that you're going to bring to the table? What does that mean? What do you think you're going to bring to the table this September when it's time for the summit for the guys who are already registered and the guys who are thinking about leaning in for this?
So truthfully, I'm not 100% sure yet. I really like one of the things that I'm gonna share. I'll share some of the directions I would like to go, and maybe if someone's listening, if something lights you up, because the ultimate gift to me is presenting on what genuinely people need and want and are curious about. So I'll share some of the directions of where my head's going with it. But I also really I love the process of creating, and I love letting life, my son, all of this kind of bring it to me organically as opposed to like thinking of the perfect outline. Actually, that's not how my best teaching is. It's actually the opposite of that as I've learned about myself. It's like my mind and all of that is a tool, but really like the gut and instinctual and intuitive hits that I get as I'm moving through life and in coaching sessions, that's where the best work is for me. Um, the downshift is one direction that I see like with all my clients benefiting, and I think with the patriarch, it would be a great thing. There's another direction of something called Drala. Are you familiar with that?
Mm-mm.
Drala, at least as I've understood it and studied it, Chogam Trungpa, he's got a book called Shambhala, and I believe it's called The Sacred Path of the Warrior. And Drala is one piece of it. And we used it a fair bit with John Wineland in one of his programs. And then I started studying where he got it from. And we've done actually, like in my men's group, we did probably a month entirely on this topic. And I'll give you a high level of it, but it's been so practical, so fucking useful. And it's been one of the favorite things of the guys in the group. So there's multiple ways to interpret it, and he's got an entire book that really goes into this concept. But the way that I would put it in my own words, Drala is more about the quality and the energetic aliveness that is in all of us. And Drala can be related to in our environment. So, like, think about the energetics of a space. Like right now, for example, there's a pretty clean backdrop, right? You've got this, you've got the plant right there. But if I took this shirt, well, first, just feel what the background looks like. Just feel it energetically, right? It's tidy, it's clean, etc. But then if I just do that,
Mhm.
and I'm having the same conversation, what does it do energetically in your my body? Like, let me you answer that from your own experience, if you would. Like, what is
Yeah.
that like?
Yeah, it's messy, it's distracting.
My energy's leaking, it's pulling, right? And so Drala can be applied to our environment, to our appearance, to our calendar, to the containers that we're in. And that's a huge, huge part of like when we talk about locking in or creating a shift, what I really realize so much. I mean, think about a haircut. How good do us as guys feel when we get a haircut? That is Drala. That's Drala. But if we're all disheveled, right? And I'm doing this interview and I'm like this, it's not going to be felt. Our presence isn't going to be felt as clean, as pristine, as deep, as felt. And so it's not about being OCD by any means, but it's looking at in practical ways what is the energetics of all of these things that impact how deeply we're felt in the world and the quality of our presence. And the way that he Chogyam Trungpa talks about it is he talks about dralas as actual entities, like they're actual beings. And so that's also another thing that I've seen is such a practical, helpful thing. And especially if guys feel stuck, like they're in a rut and they just can't get shit going, one of the quickest ways is to clean up the energetics of some of these things and
Mm.
to watch. I mean, if you go to a Buddhist temple and you walk in, is it going to be, you know, super cluttered with papers all over the floor? It's like, no, it's sacred space. It's pristine, how things are folded, the openness of the space. And it allows much more of a clean flow, transmission, access to source, whatever you want to call it. So those are the two at the top of my mind. And the third one is which is really in different words, largely what the summit's built off of, the patriarch as you've defined it. And it's my philosophy around leadership, which is lead from the middle. And that has a lot of different meanings, spiritually, practically, functionally in leading groups. And I've really felt it's my authentic way that I enjoy leading. And so it's perfect like a glove for the event. So those are really the three right now that I'm like dancing with.
Yeah, give me a snapshot of leading from the middle.
So leading from the middle, first and foremost for me, it's leading from the heart. It's being connected to our heart, and that can look in many ways, but it's really leading from the heart is one of the big pieces. One of the second big pieces is in lead from the middle, at least how I feel strongly about it, is I always do believe like there's a time to lead from the front and be that first line of defense and go in and take initiative and fucking be in the front lines. That there's also a time to lead from the back. Like if you look at wolves or even how pack animals lead, they watch their pack. But then also, like I always felt personally that the best leaders are also exceptional followers. So even in the retreats that I run, there's so much trust between different facilitators and it's my event, but there's also like the ability to be dynamic around what does the moment require? What is this moment asking of me now? And it's the furthest thing from an ego or a domineering. It's like, no, sometimes it's about me being immersed with the group and going into it with it. And that might be require me sharing a piece of myself, a vulnerability thing, or going in the sweat lodge and really like showing guys like, fuck, like I got my own shit too. And I'm here with you. I'm here struggling. And I can still hold the presence of the group. So those are two big keys, the leading from the heart and then how the dynamic nature of what is required in this moment and what would best serve the people in front of me, my family, my corporation, whoever.
Hmm. Yeah, I love the leading from the middle, the leading from that center
Mm,
concept.
mm,
What does this situation require from me? And i- so much in life comes down to, for me right now, fatherhood.
mm,
And you brought up something a couple of minutes ago, wrestling with your son, wrestling with Luca. One of the things that I've been doing recently, now that Theo has his big boy bike, is I'm going to run with you and I'm not going to let you beat me. But man, that's hard. That's hard when we go for a 2 mile run and ride together. And the bike's just a little bit too big for him. So it's hard to get on. He can jump off constructively, but I could teach him how to do it and have him practice and tell him, hey, man, buddy, I believe in you. You can do this, and get out of the way and let him fall down a couple of times and let him succeed. And when he falls down, pick him up and dust him off and be like, hey, man, you did great. You okay? You want to get back on? Let's go. Or I could try and like force him into it, try and control him into it, and then be upset that he doesn't want to do it.
mm,
I can lead from what I want him to do, or I can step back and help guide him and then get out of the way. What is this situation, him learning how to ride his bike, require from me right now?
mm,
Sometimes it's letting him fall down and make mistakes. And right now it's letting him take a lap around the block or the entire neighborhood and just being like, I'm gonna trust that he's okay. He knows the rules of the road. People slow down and let him go by. And one time he fell off the bike and like came running home. I was like, where's your bike, dude? It's like, I left it in the grass. I was like,
mm.
well, let's go find it together. Um, but that does require being able to take a step back and just ask, what does this require from me right now? What does he need in order to develop the competence and the confidence that he's going to need over the long run as well? And it's not about me.
Mm.
It's about being able to take a step back and lead in the way that is needed right now. So thanks for that.
You're welcome. Glad you- that's-
Anything else that you want to bring to the table today before we sign off?
I'm just really looking forward to it, man. I'm happy that we're doing this. I'm super stoked about the lineup. I'm really excited, obviously, to meet the people there. And I think with my presentation workshop, like I really do like making it as interactive as possible, whether that's through leaving exercises for people. Like that's the thing that I'm most excited about is to not talk the entire time per se, but to really uh, give practical stuff, man. Like
Mhm.
that's where my deepest learning has been is through even taking simple small stuff and embodying it and practicing it and falling down and getting back up. And so that's what I'm really excited about. So I'm stoked about it and I'm really pumped about the creation process. And so any of y'all listening, like based off of what we chatted about, if something hit for you, like please shoot me a message or shoot Rob a message and more than likely, I would weave that into the presentation, or I'm positive it would spark even more on how, again, I can serve the summit the best in these men. So, yeah, man, I'm pumped.
Mhm. Hell yeah, man. I can't wait.
Mm.
Where can we find you and what you're up to in the meantime?
So, Instagram, which is mike.salemi, and then website is mikesalemi.io. On there, we've got retreats. We got one happening first week of September in Mount Shasta. I got a men's group, all this stuff. But Mike Salemi's got all of the offers for men's work, leadership work, and then also more performance work as well. So that's the best place.
Mm. All right, man. Patriarch Summit, September 11th through 13th, 2026. Mike Salemi is going to be one of our amazing speakers there. It's time to revive masculine leadership and actually set the standard for what that looks like in 2026. Go to the link in my bio. I'll send Mike the links if he wants to host it as well. And join us. You get access to Mike and all the other amazing speakers. If you sign up as a VIP, you get access to all the recordings for life. And if Mike's giving something cool away, you'll get access to that as well. So the VIP is $47. It's really a no-brainer for everything that you're going to get for it. And that is it, guys. Thanks for being here. Mike, thank you for being here.
Love you, dude. Thank you.
Have an amazing day.
You too. Peace.